everyone and welcome back to Style with Substance. Today's video is all about buying your dream home, getting on the property ladder, and essentially my few simple steps to buying your own house or to owning your own home. This video is dedicated mostly to my UK viewers, but I think the same rules apply or rules and procedures will apply mostly in most parts of the world. So if you want to find out how at a very young age you can get on the property ladder and own your dream home, then continue watching. Right, so I guess you're probably wondering why I feel like I am qualified enough to make this video. One, I'm not an estate agent. Two, I'm not a property developer. Three, I'm not a property mogul. I don't have loads of money. I don't invest. I'm not in the property market whatsoever. I'm just a normal person like you. The reason why I want to share my experience is because I have, I say recently, I bought a home just over a year ago and went through the process myself, and I want to share that experience with you and give you guys some tips on how you can do the same. I think there's a big myth that if you're of a certain age or you earn a certain income that you can't get on the property ladder and that would be really difficult for you to buy a house. I'm here to dispel that myth, put some harsh realities in place, and hopefully get you guys going on your way to owning your first home. I'm 27 years of age. I bought my house when I was 26. It's a 3-bedroom house and it's in a really nice area, and I don't think that that is near impossible for anyone. So I think that anything is possible if you put your mind to it. I was looking, I've always wanted to own my own home, and this is essentially my dream home, to be honest with you. I can't really see myself ever moving from here. So I really want to impart that knowledge and my experience and my tips onto you guys and really help you get on your way. You'll have also seen a previous video of mine, which is one of the first videos I did for my channel, which I will link down below. The reason I'm filming this video is to create an updated version of that and also to share some footage on some of the stuff that's out there. So this is an updated version of my previous video, but if you haven't seen that, I'll link it in the description box below. So step one is get your finances in order. So in order to do that, you want to see a financial advisor, ideally an IFA, so an independent financial advisor who can tell you whether or not your earnings and the state of your income and your credit score and everything financial is in place for you to buy a house. If it's not, they will give you tips on how to get it in a good shape. So do that early on. Do that even before you start looking at houses, because then they will also advise you on the type of house that you can afford and what your budget is based on your income. Your savings will also make a big difference. So step two is start saving now. If you can put down a bigger deposit on a house, and for those of you that don't know, the way you buy a house essentially works as though you put a down payment on it. So a deposit's normally anything between 5 to 25% or more. If you have that money, great, and then you pay off the rest over a 25 or 30 year period normally, and you pay a little bit of interest on top, but essentially you own the house. The mortgage means you own the house, but you're just paying it off. So the more you have in savings, the bigger your deposit can be, and therefore the less your repayments will be, naturally. And you won't end up paying that much in interest and you'll pay it off really quickly. So if you can save loads of money before you go into this process, absolutely fantastic, get onto it. The third step is to start looking. Start looking and look everywhere. Don't be too close-minded. No area should be out of the question. If you live in London, for example, I'm based here in the UK, so if you live in London and you want to stay in London, look around the outskirts of London if you don't like what you're seeing or if you don't feel like you're going to get value for money in London. But there are plenty of new properties being built in London. And the reason I say open-minded is you may think you want a house or you may think you want a flat, but you may end up getting something else. Like, look around and see what the market has to offer, and really get an understanding of what you get for your money. To do that, I would sign up to a bunch of different estate agents, register on property developers' websites, and they will email you whenever they have a new property come on the market or whenever they are launching a new development. And when I say a new development, that's brand new houses that have just been built from scratch, and you can go and have a look around. The next step is to get a lawyer in place. You'll need a lawyer or a conveyancer to do all your paperwork, make sure the surveys are done, and essentially move things through right to completion. So make sure you get somebody who you know is going to give you a good service. Get a recommendation for a friend or a member of family if you can, because that's always quite good. I would also get a lender in place. When I say get a lender in place, I mean this can be somebody who's going to, this is essentially just someone who's going to loan you the money to buy the house. Traditionally, for most people, that is a bank. If you're fortunate enough to have all the money and not need a lender, then it will be a very smooth process for you, so fantastic. But most of the times it's a bank. It can be the bank that you're with at the moment, or it can be any other high street bank. And pick the bank that offers you the best interest rate. And this is where the benefit of having an independent financial advisor comes in, because they will look, if they're also a mortgage broker, which a lot of them are, they will have access to all of the different mortgages that are in the market, saving you the need to have to go out there and look at every single thing and compare the market this and compare the mortgage that. They will break it down for you. They already know what your financial situation is, and they will find the best deal for you or a short list of the best deals for you, and you can pick a lender from there. There's lots of different mortgage options out there with different banks, and there's a lot of government schemes. There's a government scheme called Help to Buy, and there's two different strands of that. One is the mortgage guarantee scheme, where you can get a mortgage of up to 95%, aka you only pay a 5% deposit, which is unheard of. Generally, it's normally 10 to 15%. And then there is the equity loan scheme, where you again pay a 5% deposit, the government pays the other 15% to bring it up to 20%, meaning you get a really good mortgage rate, but you pay back that 15% over a certain period of time. So pick whichever is best for you, or you could just get a standard mortgage for your usual 10 to 20%, and just do it that way. However you're comfortable with. There's something to suit every financial situation. Secured lender, you've got a legal team behind you, you found the house that you want, you can go ahead and essentially put an offer in. If it's a house that somebody already lives in, they will likely have put it on the market for a certain price, and you can put an offer in for either at the asking price, slightly below or slightly above if somebody else has already put in an offer. Then comes the negotiation period, and where it gets really exciting. I would say now that depending on whether it's a buyer's market or a seller's market, and when I say a buyer's market, I mean there are less buyers and more people selling their houses, meaning you can negotiate a bit more. And when I say a seller's market, I mean there are less houses and more people wanting to buy, meaning you can negotiate a bit less. Always bear that in mind for the time that you're looking to buy. So once your offer is accepted, you'll have a survey done. Normally your bank can organise that, or you can get a more in-depth survey done by a third-party company. Normally the one that the bank does is sufficient, but if it's an older property, I would recommend getting a second opinion or a second survey done, a bit more of a structural one, just to make sure the house is still structurally sound. And then you'll kind of go through the process of exchanging contracts and sort of moving towards the end, which is called exchange and completion. Exchange meaning when you exchange contracts, completion meaning when you get the keys to your new house. So most straightforward processes will take anything from 2 to 3 months. If it's slightly complicated and there's a chain, i.e. the person you're buying from is also buying from someone else who's buying from someone else, or however many links there are in that chain, it could take up to 6 months or longer. For us, it took a really long time, because the people we were buying from were also moving on to somewhere else. But it can vary. So be patient, and fear not, it will happen for you. And if the house that you really want falls through, it just means that there is an even better house waiting for you. When I was looking, we put in a good 4 offers on 4 different places, and lost out, either because a cash buyer came in and put in a higher offer, or because the sellers decided they didn't want to sell up anymore. So be patient, it will happen for you. If you're buying a new house, then fantastic, there's lots of benefits to that. You might be buying a new house because you don't really want to spend money on renovations, you want to move into something that's ready to live in. If you want to bit of a fixer-upper, you want to pay a bit less money, you might want to look into buying an older property or a property that's been lived in or been around for some time. But you do need to bear in mind the fact that the extra costs will come in for repairs and maintenance and renovations that you might need to do. I'm going to insert some footage here of me looking around at a new housing development, and then I'm going to move on to the second part of this video.
Flights of stairs. This also has 2 flights of stairs, by the way.
I know, but it's better. Look at this headboard though. These snaps are not even doing this place justice. This is a 4-bedroom townhouse. Hallway mirror. And the kitchen, my favourite part.
We noticed there's some damage to the house.
Show you the down. So thanks for watching that. That is a clip of me and my fiance going to look at houses and some of the sort of things that we looked at during our search. Some beautiful houses. And that brings me on to the next part of my video. If you already own a home but you want to upgrade or you want to move into a new home, there's lots of schemes out there for you as well. If you are an existing homeowner and you want to buy a new property, and I say this because there's so many developers building and buying land and sort of building up new homes, that there is a real surge in the market for people wanting to live somewhere that's never been lived in and that is fresh and has that shiny appeal. There are ups and downs of buying a new property. Some say that the minute you spend one night in a new property, it decreases in value. I try not to pay too much attention to that because over time your property will increase in value in most cases, depending on what part of the country you live in. You are the first person to have lived in that house. It's truly your home. It was built for you essentially to live in, and you can really put your own mark on it. And with a lot of new property developers, you can customize the house and make the specifications to your taste. So you don't just go in and get, you know, a house that's ready to go. You can pick the floors, the cupboards, you know, the fixtures and fittings. You can customize it based on what you're looking for. And there's a number of different schemes for buying new homes. A number of property developers will do something which is called a part exchange. So if you already own a home and you want to buy a new home, you can essentially use your home as a down payment for your new home. And how that works essentially is you hand over all responsibility for selling your own property to the property developer, and they will sell it for you at a price that you've both agreed on. There is a view in the industry that you won't always get the best price from the property developer for your existing home, so it's always good to get a property valuer to come in and value your house before you have the property developer do so. Then you know exactly what it's really worth. Some developers will offer you, you know, up to 95% of the true value of your home. Some won't. Pick at your own discretion. But once they have taken over ownership of your home, they'll likely just put it back on the market for whatever price they choose, and you can essentially move into your new home once it's ready. With a lot of property developers, they say that your existing home has to be 30% less in value than the home you're trying to buy. So this part exchange really only works as well for people who are looking to upgrade, i.e. essentially pay a bit more money and get something slightly or hopefully significantly nicer. So say for example your home is currently £300,000 or worth that in the general marketplace. Property developer would only want you to look at properties that are, say, 450k upwards, just as an example. The percentages might be a bit off because my maths is a bit off, but that's the kind of thing that I mean. So if you're looking for an upgrade, you want a newer home, you're tired of kind of putting more money into older homes to kind of upgrade them, then that is a way to go. You can also obviously look around and again go through the same process that you did just to find a normal home, so one that is not newly built. But there's so many different options for you out there. I'm going to refer you to a bunch of different websites in the description box. One is a great one for looking for property, so Rightmove and Zoopla. Those are the best in my opinion. And then there's a few websites of some property developers that you might want to look at if you're interested in new builds, whether for your first home or whether for a second home or a new home to move into. I hope you found that video incredibly useful. I've thrown so much information at you, so please, 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 if you have any questions, don't hesitate to leave them in the comments box. I will answer all of them. Subscribe if you haven't already. I upload every Tuesday and Thursday, and my videos range from lifestyle like this one, beauty, fashion, hair, all sorts. I am also on Instagram and Twitter at richl, which I will link down there, but I'm also on Snapchat and Pinterest and on Facebook. Come like my page on Facebook. All the details will be in the description box below. Hi everyone and welcome back to Style with Substance. Today I filmed for you this fall nighttime look. It features this purpley brown smoky eye, full face with contour and highlight, and some false lashes and a very full lip with browns and deep reds. Hopefully you really like the look of this and you want to find out how I achieved this look. If that is the case, then